two. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I can't help it, baby. I just can't stand still. I was born to wander, and I probably always will. Better love me now. You know I won't be here long. Out yonder is calling, and I gotta be moving on. Guess I was born with a restless soul. Honey, I'd like to stay with you, but you know I gotta go. I'll see you next time I come back around. 'Cause baby, you know I'm a wandering man. Don't know where I'm headed, but I ain't lost my way. Ain't worried about tomorrow, busy living for today. Don't worry about me, baby. Don't let it get you down. If the world keeps turning, honey, I'll be right back around. Guess I was born with a restless soul. Honey, I'd like to stay with you, but you know I gotta go. I'll see you next time I come back around. 'Cause baby, you know I'm a wandering man. Guess I was born with a restless soul. Honey, I'd like to stay with you, but you know I gotta go. I'll see you next time I come back around. 'Cause baby, you know I'm a wandering man. 'Cause baby, you know I'm a wandering man. 'Cause baby, you know I'm a wandering man. Yes, I am.
Hello, folks, and welcome to the Simmons Says show here from Studio 605 and the new Studio 605 landscape. This is the Jeff Simmons-led studio for Simmons Says here at Studio 605. I am your host, Jeff Simmons, and I am sitting here. The first ever guest for this studio is District Attorney candidate Lisa Zavogiannis. Did I get that right?
You did excellent.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, don't ask me to spell it though. I mean, I know that's probably something that you've gotten a lot over the years. How long did it take for everybody to kind of or to get the name right, or is that why you dropped it to Lisa Z? You said just take it easy, guys.
Well, Judge Hastings changed my name.
Okay, did he now?
He did. He found Zavogiannis very difficult to say, so he would just call me Miss Z.
Oh, okay, so that's where, and from there you were just saying, hey, if the judge is calling me Miss Z, then I guess I'll just go with Miss Z. But I know that is another just long web of stories that I'm sure that you have to tell, and that's what we came here to talk about. Just wanted to come in and have a conversation. I know that you're in the midst of what's going to be a very interesting battle all the way into August. Of course, August 6th will be the day. Till August 1st, you can early vote in Warren County. Of course, today actually I think starts the early voting in Morrison and Centertown. as well. So you can go vote in Morrison, you can go vote in Centertown. You could also vote at the administration building at Locust Street. And again, too, that'll be until August the 1st, and then we'll have the big vote on August the 6th. But Lisa Zavogiannis, let me ask the first one. What's it been like the last 4 years? I mean, you were in the office, you were in the district attorney seat for 16 years. 2022, you did not win that vote. So what's been the last 4 years for you personally, business wise? What have you been up to?
Well, Jeff, I'm always busy.
Mm-hmm.
So the day I left office, the next day I went to work as an assistant district attorney. I never held that position before, so it was kind of interesting.
The little flip-flop there.
It did. I went to Shelbyville.
Okay.
And worked in circuit court. My job there was to try cases.
Okay.
And it was to try, in Shelbyville, in circuit court, you have the very serious felonies, the murders, the child molesters, the child rapists, drug dealers, big drug dealers, gang members. And that's what I did for a couple of years.
Whew. Yeah, those are a lot. That's a gauntlet of serious offenses that you were working with there. Was that something that you had planned? I mean, was that something you said the day after you were in there, but at some point I would have to ask, did you ever think you'd be back here in the on the campaign trail, ready to roll, getting everybody going back out and shaking the hands and talking to people? Or did you think after 2022, I kind of like this assistant DA role, I think I'll just stick with this?
Well, I did the assistant DA role for a couple of years, and then I decided that I would do something different. So I went to the public defender's office. Oh. That's where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And so that's quite interesting. It's challenging, and I always like a challenge. But as far as in 2022, I think I needed that break. I think it was good for me. Gave me an opportunity to revitalize and regroup and to put things in perspective, Yeah. So it was a good break. And I really did not plan on running as the district attorney for the district attorney position again.
Yeah. The family might not have had it either.
No. No, my children have definitely told me that Mom, it's nice just having you being more relaxed, less stress, not always having the cell phone strapped to your hip, being able to spend time with them. So they've enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed that part as well. But the circumstances that arose compelled me to put my name back in the hat.
Yeah. And you, first, were you in the contention when Governor Bill Lee appointed someone to replace Chris Stanford from the time that we've had that to now? Were you in contention at that point? Or?
Yeah, I was one of the 4 people that was interviewed.
Okay.
It was I think a natural position for me to take is that I have the experience. I know how to lead that office, and so I put my name in the hat. And it was a good discussion. We had a good visit with the governor. Mm-hmm. And he made his decision, and why he made his decision is for him and him only to know. Yeah. So, but yeah, I put my name in the hat.
Yeah. Well, now this is not going to be a governor decision. This is going to be a Warren County and Van Buren County decision on August the 6th. Though it'll be a little bit more than one person potentially deciding this. In fact, there'll probably be somewhere in the neighborhood of, I think I went back and looked at the 2022 results. There was probably over 10,000 ballots cast. So I think there'll be a very big decision for people to be made, and one of 3 people are going to end up having that seat. Either Lisa Zavogiannis, Matt Culver, or Randall Gilliam will be taking that. We'll be taking that job here in the next month or so. But let me go back to the start here, because you and I, we've known each other for a while, but I don't know if I know the backstory of Lisa Z. So tell me, how did you get into this field? How did you get into Warren County? When did you start laying down roots, not only in this county, but into the district attorney's office?
Well, Jeff, I was born in Kentucky. I'm the youngest of 12 kids.
Okay.
And so my dream started a long time ago.
Yeah.
When I was about 8 years old, I watched a movie on TV. One of the rare movies we got to watch, because TV was not something we got to spend a lot of time doing back in those days. And And I realized that attorneys were in a unique position and they could actually help people. Now, that may be strange. A lot of people don't think attorneys help people,
Yeah.
but you can. It is a great position to do that. So that was a dream that started a long time ago. And I met my husband in Kentucky.
Yep.
I'm from a big family. I got 12 siblings. There's 12 of us. 12 aunts and uncles on my father's side, 12 aunts and uncles on my mother's side. So I met Jim, who was originally from Greece, thank goodness. And it wasn't my cousin or anything.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
we joke about that. But,
Yeah.
I met him there and we got married in Kentucky. And I had opened a restaurant before we got married. I was 19. So my dream to be an attorney was there, but I took a little different path. Went to the business sector at 19 years old, opened my own business, married my husband at 20, then helped him in his business. And we ended up deciding that my small hometown just was not big enough to really be the success you need to be. And so Jim was going to Florida to find us a restaurant.
Okay.
Well, we ended up I know.
I'm doing the math here.
I know. Florida. But he stopped in McMinnville, Tennessee, met Tom Dugan, and the rest is history.
Okay.
And so that's how we got to Tennessee 38 years ago. Opened up a small restaurant here, but that dream inside me did not go away.
Yeah. So when did you decide that you were going to really pursue that? Because of course, I mean, everybody knows. I mean, you were talking about your husband. Y'all have Gondola, which is a fantastic restaurant in town. I also probably mentioned that our presenting sponsor of the Simmons Says show is Mud Bums. A lot of great restaurants in town if you want to go check those out. But when did you decide, all right, it's time, we've got the restaurant, we've gotten some things going, I'm going to go pursue this dream of being an attorney?
Well, I was 27 years old.
Hey, there you go.
27, and I told Jim we had a daughter. She was about 5 years old at the time. And I said, Jim, I really want to go back to school. So I started school at Tennessee Tech, and I continued helping him in the restaurant. Graduated when I was 30 with my bachelor's in business administration and human resources.
That's why I got my degree in. I was
Yeah.
a business admin guy.
Well, it had a lot of law in that area, and that's why I pursued that area, to be honest. And then I went to night law school at Nashville School of Law.
Okay.
At that time, we had two restaurants. When I started law school, we had Dimitri's and Gondola.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I went at night and helped him and had my second child, my second year of law school. So, it was hard. Yeah. It was a lot of hard work, perseverance, and then I went into private practice as soon as I got out of law school. I went to work with Keith Smart.
Okay.
And I worked with him for a couple of years because I felt like I needed to know the legal community, get my feet wet, and being with someone who did understand everything. So I worked with Keith for a couple of years and then went out in private practice on my own.
Yeah. So Keith would be somebody that you would consider like someone who kind of mentored you through this process and kind of got you started with everything.
He was, and there were several other attorneys in town that tried to help me and work with us, just like restaurants. We help each other, but the same thing with lawyers.
Everybody kind of pitches in and gets everything rolling there. So again, too, you start in this. It's funny to me to think about that you're up there in Kentucky, heading to Florida, and then all of a sudden here's just a little McMinnville, Tennessee, and the story starts to write itself. And we were talking right before the show that you have some lofty titles in your past. In fact, I think you were the first elected female district attorney in Warren County. I know that you mentioned that Miss Martela had been appointed there, and then of course that was something that in the state probably didn't happen a lot. But I don't know if that, when you went to go run for a district attorney, and this has been 20 years ago now. We were just talking about that. Sorry, we're not to put any age on there, but this is something that you've done for a long time, and this is something that, as we were talking about, these are choices that when people make them, they traditionally stay for 8 years. So that's something that you have to make a very, very educated decision here. But 20 years ago, when you first did this, what was I'm guessing you weren't thinking I'm going to be the first female to be elected in Warren County or anything like that. I think you were just what made you think I want to be the district attorney?
Well, I wanted to be the district attorney because of my passion for victims. As a defense attorney, I'd had victims come to me, call my office, ask me about court dates, motions, what was going to happen on this day, and I just didn't feel like that was right. Because, I know that as a victim of a crime, most victims do not like the defense attorney. Oh, they're the person that's against me, representing this bad person who committed this offense on my family. And you should have that right.
Yeah.
You should have that right to feel that way if you want to feel that way. It just did not seem fair to me that a person had to contact the defense attorney. And that's what fired me up.
Yeah.
That's why I decided to run. That's why I'm here today.
I was going to say, if it sounds like that's the same fuel of the fire for now, 20 years later, getting back into it is that same feeling of wanting to help people and help people in situations where, obviously this is something that it's tough for me to comprehend. I've never been in the legal system, thankfully, and that, but I don't even think that sometimes we comprehend what you do on a day-to-day basis. I mean, I know we could all watch Law and Order, and we could all watch the TV show Suits. Suits is one I've been watching a lot of clips of lately. But on a day-to-day basis, what is a job of a district attorney? Like, what would you be doing on a Monday today, if not for being here and talking to me and being like, oh, I got to entertain this clown?
Well, I did not call you a clown.
Oh no, I was. She did not say that. I'm saying that. I appreciate that.
Actually, you never know. As the district attorney's job is, the actual district attorney's job is actually huge.
Yeah.
You oversee an entire office. You have staff. I mean, you could walk in on Monday morning and one of your staff members decides to quit. So you have to deal with that. There could be a major incident that occurs. There could be a shooting that's happened. So you might be walking in, meeting with law enforcement. Yeah. So it changes every day as to what you're doing. I used to walk into the office, and I would tell you that on average, every day it would take me 2 hours before I could actually get to my office. Wow. Because you need to talk to people, know what's going on, be involved, be listening. The job of district attorney is voluminous, and there's not one single line that can describe it. Yeah. But you've got to oversee the prosecutors, you oversee the staff there, you work with the state to make sure your laws are strong. You work with law enforcement. Every decision that's made in that office falls on you.
Yeah, I mean, you did that for 16 years, folks. 16 years that Lisa Zavogiannis was the local district attorney, and then as we pointed out, 2022. This is an office that. Well, first let me ask this: why is this an elected office instead of an appointed office? I've always been interested in wondering why do we need? Is this an office that we need to elect? Is there a reasoning behind that, or is there just that's how we've always done it kind of thing?
Well, I'm assuming that's how we've always done it, but my personal belief is I think it should be elected. Okay. I don't think one person should decide who's going to fill that position. Yeah. Everyone should be accountable. We should be accountable to the voters. Mm-hmm.
And this is the best way is to have this hold this election and the things, and if people want change, they can go out there and make change. In 2022 there was change. Is there anything that you've thought about over the last 4 years, or now that you're back into the race, that you say, I think about this differently, or this is something that I learned from talking to people either before or after 2022 that you think, I'm better at that now, or I understand this better, or even just understand the electorate of Warren County better?
Well, I think you should always strive to do better at everything you do. I'm always striving to learn. That's why I went and became an assistant. Let's learn what an assistant does.
Yeah.
That's why I've gone to the public defender side. I think those factors, those things that I've done since 2022 will only make me better.
Yeah. I couldn't say it better for you. Look, folks, there's nothing written back around here, nothing about that. That's just straight up. I like that. Well, Lisa, let me ask this is something that I always talk about with the campaigns that is interested in me is you're inevitably going to be out in the community all the time. People are asking you about come here, or people are saying, hey, you should go there, or you have to, be at everything. But the one thing that I noticed is you were kind of doing that the last few years, even before all that. What are these events like for you outside of election cycle? I mean, I saw you at the Phyllis Prater State Cook-Off. I know that you've been around. I mean, you like getting involved in the community all the time. And you've kind of planted your flag in this community like that. What are the most impressive things that you think about it when you think of Warren County in general?
Well, when I moved here 38 years ago, I'm from a small town, but I moved here, and people would come to the restaurant and they would ask for donations. And I didn't quite understand that because in my hometown, they didn't do those things. The most impressive thing to me is how this community stands together.
Yeah.
Last month, there was an event in Van Buren County to help a 3-year-old child. I mean, it was unbelievable how the community stood together. I dipped up and made 520 taco salads.
Oh.
And there were that many people purchasing taco salads.
Yeah.
It wasn't political.
Yeah.
It was to help this child. And so that's what I love about this community, is that they stick together. If the chips are down, they're going to help you. If you need something, they're going to be there. And so that's why I'm in the community.
Yeah.
I like that. I like helping others, being involved. Since the election in 2022, I've worked at Midway, I've worked at Morrison, I've done the Phyllis Prater Cook-Off, not for any personal gain or benefit.
No.
I mean, I guess it is a personal gain. It's a gain of satisfaction of knowing that you're out there doing something positive in your community. And we should do that. I mean, you should be engaged. If you're going to represent this community, be engaged in it. Know the people. Listen to them.
That's a great point. You talk about that all the time. I always talk about the idea that the things that you have to do and the things that you're talking about there, you don't want them to become transactional. I'll do it, but what do I get out of it? You just want to be there, and you want to know that you're there for the right reasons. You're helping out, going to, like you said, going to Midway, going to Morrison, now all you're really doing is right now is just getting me hungry because I'm sitting there thinking about the concession stands and everything that there. But again, too, it just goes back to a transactional accounts of dealing with people. Sometimes I feel like they're going to come back and bite you. Because it's like that you're not. People will find out that you're not being transparent. You're being transactional, and you don't ever want to be that when it comes to anything. I mean, either as a business owner, as a reporter, as a potential district attorney, or just anything. I mean, just as a human being, it would be nice that you didn't live your life as being transactional. When it comes to that, there's no really question there.
God loves a cheerful giver, and so the things you do every day, the imprint you leave when you leave this world, is what's going to matter.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, making an impact in Warren County would be something, and Van Buren County would be something the district attorney could do. What is the one biggest misconception that you think people have for, say, the district attorney office or the district attorney position? What's the one thing that people come and say, you can do this, and they're like, I actually don't, I can't do that, or that's not just my decision type deal.
Well, I think everybody. Well, not everybody. Let's rephrase this here. I think a misconception is that the DA has the people arrested.
Yeah.
that we go out and we are responsible for every call that an officer makes.
That doesn't sound, yeah, well, yeah. I could see where people can misconstrue that, but yeah, that would be something that would be beyond frustrating. I don't think that you had the officer pull me over for a speeding ticket or anything like that. I don't think,
but we're often blamed for everything that a person thinks goes wrong in the community. And we are the chief. The district attorney is the chief law enforcement officer, yes, and they make those decisions in the courtroom, yes. But before it gets to the courtroom, there's other people involved in that decision. Now, some investigations do start at the district attorney's office. For whatever reason, there's different reasons that they could start there. But we do not do the investigation. A case starts with either your city or your county.
What happens when there's a disagreement on the fundamental basis of evidence to potentially go to prosecute? Either you think there's enough, but maybe law enforcement doesn't, or law enforcement thinks there's enough, but you don't think that there's a preponderance of evidence to prosecute. What is there ever a situation where that happens, where y'all aren't hand in hand, and how does that play out?
Yes, that does happen. And it's law enforcement may think there's enough evidence, and we see that we need something more. It plays out in most circumstances where you sit down with law enforcement and you have a discussion and you say, we need this, let's work on this. It's tough when you go into a courtroom with a case.
Yeah.
And there is no ironclad case.
There's no slam dunks in the courtroom, I'm assuming.
No slam dunks, no absolute wins on the defense side either. However, we can work to make that case better. And that's usually the communication we have. Okay, what do we need? We need this piece. How do we get that piece of evidence?
Yeah.
Let's look in this area. And sometimes it takes time. Let's look at the Mooneyham case. That took 10 years.
Yeah.
And I know law enforcement worked extremely hard on that case. But there was just things that needed to happen, and they chased down a lot of rabbit holes, and they worked really hard on it. But eventually, you never give up, never quit. Eventually, you get your answer.
Yeah, it's again you just said that. What is it like when you have? Because I know as you said as you've been in there for 16 years, there were probably cases that you inherited in 2006 that were ongoing at the time, or stuff that happened between 2006 and 2022, that you do have that long, drawn-out process. I mean, what is it like when you're having to deal with families or dealing with, potential victims where they're trying to either pressure you or pressure law enforcement of, you have to fix this or you have to do this, when you're sitting there saying, we have to make sure that we get it right. I mean, I know that those conversations have to be difficult, but also, sometimes somewhat demoralizing. I'm assuming when you're sitting there trying to, what you're trying to do, but also know where they're coming from when they're talking to you.
I think that's where compassion comes in. You need to understand that sometimes victims are mad at you.
Yeah.
They're very angry. You don't have this case solved. Well, no. But when we do solve it, let's make sure that the guy doesn't get away or the girl doesn't get away. Let's make sure it's solid. Yeah. And so those are conversations you have. Sometimes they don't like those answers. They don't like to wait. I can't blame them. And I try to always keep that in mind. These are real people sitting on the other side of that table.
Yeah.
And they have feelings and they're angry. And I listen to it and I let them say what they want to say. Sometimes it's not easy to sit there and take it, but I think you need to be able to do that, to understand, because if I was in their shoes, and I always try to say, okay, if I'm there, do I want someone just to listen to me? Today I'm angry, and I'm going to tell you about it. Tell me about it.
Yeah, because there are some times when it would never matter what your answer or explanation is going to be. They don't really care. They probably don't even really want to hear it. They just want to let you know they're not satisfied with you.
Absolutely.
And when that happens, it goes, well, I mean, when did that, is that something that, when you came into office, you already kind of had that kind of approach? I mean, you seen, or the compassionate of that, or does that go back to even being a sibling with 11 family members back in Kentucky, where you're just like, you just understand immediately, I'm going to have to sit through some conversations and see every side of it and pick through. I mean, you probably been doing that since you were a little girl in Kentucky.
Oh, well, I was the punching bag when I was a little girl in Kentucky.
Oh, no. So where
so
did
that's
you...
I'm the youngest.
Oh, the absolute youngest.
The absolute youngest
wow.
of 12. So you talk about having to be tough.
Yeah.
You had to be tough. My sister lives here, and so we had a brother between us, and we had some rough days, but I adore them. I love them. I'm so thankful for that family now. Yeah. But what was the question? I think I got distracted here talking about that.
When did you kind of learn how to handle those situations with compassion? And did you first come into the office and get like bombarded a couple of times and realize that, or did you kind of already have that like that? I deal with everything pretty even keel.
Well, I did a lot of DCS work when I first started practicing. And so I represented parents, represented children. So in all sides of those cases, people are unhappy. Yeah. And I think that's probably where I developed that skill and ability to just listen.
That's the best one. I would assume that would be a very, very good basis for where to learn compassion more than anything. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you're dealing with DCS cases. Explain to me the relationship a district attorney would have with, say, judges. I mean, there's obviously you're in their courtroom. Is there anything, because you see each other so frequently, is there anything that develops through that, or is it just shared professionalism more than anything else there?
Well, I think you have to have respect for each other.
Yeah. And
understand that we each have a distinct role in the judicial system. We must all work together. It takes the district attorney's office to bring the cases, to make sure that the evidence is there. It takes the public defender's office to protect the constitutional rights of the defendants and make sure that we're doing our job. And then it takes the judge. They're sort of the referee. Yeah. They make sure that we're introducing the evidence and doing things appropriately. And, sometimes, as we've seen recently, judge will just simply not take a plea agreement.
What's it like when that happens and when you're on either side? You've been on both sides. Of what is it like when you feel like y'all satisfied with what y'all were doing and the judge says, no, that's not going to work for us? I mean, what, do you go back to the drawing board? Is that a lot of attorney defense and the prosecution working together? What is it like when that happens?
I think you need to rethink why he didn't take that.
Yeah.
And rethink the offer or whatever the reasoning is that the judge doesn't do it. You need to take that into consideration first and foremost. And then you need to talk to the victims. On the side of the prosecution, having those conversations with victims is crucial. I don't think you just go and say, well, I'll do it anyway. Yeah. And I'll figure out another way to do it. I think you need to think about why that decision was made.
And do you go into the courtroom with an idea when you're the district attorney of who you're representing feels about it, or does that ever change in the midst of a trial? Is there ever like we all, like I said, my biggest idea of anything courtroom is like you watch the movies, you watch the TV shows, and there's always this curveball that's coming or anything like that.
Oh, I wish you wouldn't do that.
I assume that's not necessarily how this is handled on a day-to-day basis. I wouldn't think. I mean, there's never like the the objection, and they bring up some document, and you're like, that doesn't happen. I'm assuming that doesn't happen a ton.
Yeah, I hate that's what you're basing this discussion
on.
Oh,
no, not at all. No, I'm just saying, clear it up for me. Yeah, I appreciate that.
It doesn't happen like that. We can't go into a murder scene and take a fly and get DNA and solve the case within an hour.
Yeah.
things don't work that way. So, you must talk to the victims. It's top priority. And, every judge I've been before will ask that question. Have you ran this by the victim? What is their opinion? It's important.
That's very important. Yeah. Well, outside of a very important position that the Warren County will be able to vote on, and you're currently able to vote on it too until August 1st, and then of course August 6th will be the election date. When you're outside of doing your public defender's work, or when you were assistant DA, or when you were the district attorney, what are the things that people may not know about what you enjoy to do when you're out in leisure time?
Well, I like digging in the dirt.
Oh, do you?
I do.
Yeah.
Which is strange because I grew up on a farm.
Okay.
And I said I'd never do that.
When you left, you said, "Nah, never again."
I love to work in the garden, plant flowers, and mow yards. So I'm an outside kind of girl. I also like, more than anything, spending time with my grandchildren. I have 2 of them.
Yeah. And that must be amazing time spent. Obviously taking them outside. Are they learning the ways? Are they learning? Do you have a green thumb? Are you like really good in the garden or anything like that? Or is it just trying to figure out just different ways, landscaping? What are you doing out there?
I like to plant flowers.
Yeah.
That's my big thing.
Yeah.
Jim bought me a greenhouse a couple years ago.
Okay.
So now it's okay. How do I start them from scratch, and keep them alive? We've got some fruit trees that I'm trying to. I've got some oranges growing right now.
Oh wow!
So that's
Tennessee orange.
Yeah.
Hey, you're talking. Yeah.
But they're not very big.
Okay.
About twice the size of a quarter. But I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I like to do in my spare time. But working with my grandchildren has been something that I've enjoyed. On Sunday, my 2 boys, my daughter, my grandson, and now I'm just starting to teach my granddaughter who's 10. They all come and work in the restaurant with me.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that's probably one of my favorite activities, is just all being there together as a family with one goal, and that's taking care of the community and the customers.
Yeah. Those Sunday afternoons are slam packed. I live right over there. I see the crowds over there at Gondola. I'm there frequently. So yeah. What's it been like with the restaurant business, kind of getting back post COVID? Because I'm sure that there was as my brother owns a restaurant, I know that y'all have the restaurant. I know there were some difficult times there during COVID. What's it been like, kind of rebuilding and changing the landscape of with Gondola over there?
Well, COVID was tough, and your brother can tell you, we were both fortunate to survive. I think we had 50, 60 employees when COVID hit, and then when we went back, we had like 14.
Golly.
So everything had to change. You've got food cost issues, you've got employee issues, it's just everything has changed. Everything has gone up. It's expensive. And boy, when COVID first, when we were allowed to go back and open the doors, I don't know about you guys over at Mud Bums, but the personality of the customer was rough.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody,
They were angry.
It was like everybody, it was like somehow people had done them wrong. I'm like, we should all be enjoying the fact we're back out here. This is nice.
We're all struggling here. Yeah. We're a team. Let's do this together. So it was tough, but it's slowly getting back, and things are getting, I guess, sort of normal.
Yeah.
We still have employee issues, and there's just an employee shortage. It really is.
It really is, and I don't know if that's ever going to change, especially in the restaurant business. It seems like that, finding good help's tough. Retaining and keeping good help is almost always the thing that Brett talks about a lot with Mud Bums. Again, presenting sponsor of the Simmons Says show, 507-2867-507-BUMS. They just opened if you want to go over there and grab their lunch specials. How many people still ask about whether or not y'all are going to bring the buffet back?
Every week.
Every week? Is the answer the same as it's always been?
No. That's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. I was going to say, y'all, I've been in there. I don't think that when people are like, I think they might bring the buffet back, I'm like, been to the restaurant in a while. I don't think there's any place for it anymore.
I don't think we could afford to.
Oh yeah.
That's the big issue, you
Yes,
know.
yeah.
We liked that and being able to accommodate the community like we were able to with the buffet, and you could, you know, people could get in and out really fast at lunchtime, but it's just not feasible.
Oh no, there's just no way anymore. I don't know how. There's a reason why there's very few buffets left in Warren County, and just it's just really tough, or just in general going out there. Talking about the restaurant and your husband, what was it like getting in like his background, his from Greece, like you've opened this restaurant. There's obviously that's a little bit of the theme of the restaurant. I mean, what have you learned about Greece, and what have you learned about? I mean, have you become a world traveler? I'm assuming that you've been able to go over to Greece. What's it like? You know, being from small town Kentucky to being over in Greece and now running a kind of Greek / American restaurant.
Well, when we do go to Greece, we usually try to go once a year, or at least Jim always goes once a year. I try to go once a year for a couple of weeks.
Right.
But it's very relaxing, very peaceful and tranquil kind of lifestyle. You know, they take a nap between 12 and 4 in the afternoon.
See, Sullens, did you hear that? We might start doing this show in Greece.
So it's definitely different, but the people are just like they are here. They're nice, they're welcoming, and everything there is based upon two concepts. It's based around family and religion.
Oh, nice.
So that's what the entire focus is on family and religion.
Yeah. Sounds like,
there's a church
sounds a lot like Warren County, honestly.
There's a lot of churches. I mean, there's a church. We have a house in a small village, and so there's probably 100 people that live in that village, and I think there's about 5 churches there for 100 people. There's one actually 20 feet away from our house.
Yeah. Wow.
So, but it's I like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's the small town feel, but the very communal. It sounds like over there. Do they now? Is it gondola over there? Or is it gondola? Like how many? What am I messing? You just gave me the look like, oh, you don't say that. Well, so what is gondola? Like I know you also get. I'm sure you've heard this question 1,000 times. What is a gondola?
Well, it's gondola is what a lot of people call it.
Yeah.
But here in the South, we call it gondola.
Mm-hmm.
It's a boat.
Okay.
From Venice, Italy.
Oh, okay.
And that's what a gondola boat is.
Yeah.
Now, the restaurant was started in Cookeville, Tennessee, originally by a friend of Jim's.
Yeah.
And they're from the same village. And so at one point, I think there were 18 gondolas around, and they all grew up together in the same village.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Yeah, that one in Cookeville is still open, is it not? Is it right there on the right, or did they just...
No. The guy who started that passed away 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh.
And his family sold the restaurant.
Yeah.
They have a couple restaurants down in Florida.
Okay.
St. Augustine, I think it is.
Yeah. Well, you can see that tells you just how much that I do not travel to Cookeville. I apologize out there. Yeah, man, has it really been that long since I've been to Cookeville?
But his cousin owns the one in Crossville.
Oh, okay. So that's incredible to think that a small. Like you just said, a small village of people that come over and then they open up restaurants all across Tennessee, Crossville, now, as you said, in Florida as well. That's. Have you been to all of them? Have you actually been able to go to at least a few of them, or y'all just like, hey, we kind of like ours, we'll just stay here?
Well, I try to go to them.
Yeah.
Probably been to most of them, but there's a lot of restaurants that are the family restaurants owned by Greeks that don't have the name gondola. Several years ago, we were down this small town down in Alabama shooting a video. It was a small town, and there were 2 restaurants in town, and so we went into one, and little did I know that Jim knew the owner. And so we went in and sit down, and so he starts asking the waitress, hey, is so-and-so here? And I'm like, who's so-and-so? and he was friends with him. So it's wherever you go, just about every county. Jimmy knows somebody.
Yeah, it was a small town. I mean, that's yeah. I get yeah. He knows plenty of people. Y'all kind of cast a wide net. Y'all been in the business for a while now, so I guess that would be. But that's awesome. And again, too, just congratulations on everything that y'all been able to do over there because it is a phenomenal restaurant. People want to go check that out. Support all the local restaurants and local businesses in Warren County because there's some hard work being done to keep those businesses alive and thriving at times. Although, like the whole family it sounds like on Sunday, including the grandkids.
Well, my son is working to take
yeah.
over.
Oh, okay.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Because you don't want something that you've invested your life in to just disappear. So hopefully he'll be taking over that business and carrying on.
There you go on that. Well, as you get into these last few days on the campaign trail, what's it like? What's the focus? And or are you just going to be out there continuing to see people and wave and shake hands and say, how's it going? Top deal. I mean, I'm sure you're pretty open book. You're welcome to talk about anything. It sounds like.
I am, and maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. I don't know.
At times.
But the focus is just being there and listening to the community, hearing what your concerns are, and just seeing people.
Yeah. Well, when this campaign's over, win or lose, what do you want people to know about Lisa Z? What do you hope that they say about you, regardless of what the outcomes are here in a few? And what is it now? 10 days, 11 days. What do you want that people to think about you and how you ran your race this year?
Well, I believe in running my race with my head up. I've always tried to tell the truth. I have always told the truth, and I try to do things right. My goal as the DA was to do the right thing every day. That's my goal during this campaign. I want people to say, you know what? She's a hard worker. She gave it her all. People made their decision.
Yeah.
I hope they make the right decision because we know that elections have consequences. And we took a good office that was doing good things, working hard to represent this community, this district, and it's got problems right now.
Yeah.
And if they want someone who can go in there with the real experience from day one and do this job, then I'm their person.
Yeah.
But I'll still be in this community, win, lose, or draw.
Yeah.
I'll still be here. I'll still be talking to the community. I'll still be talking to people. I'm still here.
Yeah. Well, that's great because you just led me into the next question I had there is if you were to win, what is the one thing over these next 4 years because you would be taking over the term and finishing Chris Stanford's term? What would be one thing that you would want to be able to walk in day one and say we have to get this ready, get this fixed, get this organized before as we get back into work?
We've got to rebuild relationships. That's got to happen from day one because we all have to work together. Every agency has to work together.
Yeah. So that'd be the biggest step there and the biggest key. Any other things that you kind of sit in your mind? Because again, too, normally you've done this a few times and you've had 8 years. You go in and knowing you have 8 years. This time, if you were to win, you only have 4 years to kind of enact changes or any other things that are keys or just in general things that you're saying, hey, we need to work on this as well. Beyond just building back those relationships.
Well, we need to make sure that the people understand we have an open door.
Yeah.
And so if you have a problem, we're there for you. We're going to build relationships. We're going to have an open door policy again. We're going to work to make good cases. You don't win every case. I understand that. But you need to be striving, and that should be your goal, to be successful in your prosecution. So building good cases, having good prosecutors, making sure that victims are communicated with, whether they like the results or whether they like the system, they at least need to understand it. And so those are just some of my top priorities.
Yeah. And then, of course, obviously, this is not just a race for Warren County. Van Buren County is also included in this. How much do you still have ties into that community, and what's it like? Because I mean, sometimes talk about this a lot. I mean, just when I break down the race, sometimes Van Buren County can be the make or break on that. I mean, I know that when you won your second term, it was Van Buren County that kind of made the difference there. I mean, what's it like working in Van Buren County, and how much work do you have to put in as the district attorney, not only to represent Warren County, but also to represent Van Buren County?
Well, that was one of the things that concerned me, is Van Buren County was sort of unrepresented. And I've worked hard to make sure that they never feel like they're unrepresented. Van Buren County is very important to me. The people in that community are very important to me. That's why I opened an office there and had it staffed so that they have easier access to justice. Why drive 30 minutes to come down here to talk to a prosecutor? That should not happen. So I have worked hard to make sure that anything they need, they get. When I was the DA, I was part of the 12th and the 31st Judicial Drug Task Force because I wanted to make sure that they had extra law enforcement. And that was a way to do that, to help fight and get drugs off the street, joining that task force with the 31st, just for Van Buren. I started a bicycle giveaway there. That's where it started, then it came to McMinnville as well. But that was just to try to keep the kids in school, so that they would be safe and protected, and somebody could keep their eyes on them and keep them off the streets, and lots of advantages there. Fighting the methadone clinic in Spencer, standing up with the citizens. So Van Buren County has always been top priority to me, and they will continue to be. They're important.
Well, I'm sure that there's several family members that I have that are up there that I'm sure they'll be very happy and very pleased to hear that. Do you want to do a little lightning round as we finish up?
What's a lightning round?
Well, we're just going to ask you some just rapid fire questions.
Oh my goodness.
So you kind of given me the side eye a couple of times when I brought it up. Are there any local TV shows or about the courtroom that you actually do watch and you're like, oh yeah, that's not bad, or do you just like, I'm out on all these?
Actually, there's one, Lincoln Lawyer.
Lincoln Lawyer? Okay.
Yeah.
So that one's not bad?
It's pretty interesting.
Okay. I'll have to watch that one. If I watch that one, we might have to bring you back and be like, okay, now I understand a little bit more on that one. Biggest misconception about prosecutors?
Biggest misconception about prosecutors? I don't know. We can fix everything?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, why don't you figure this out?
Yeah,
make this
we can't fix everything.
Better. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. This one's just for me. Are you a Diet Coke drinker or are you a Coke Zero?
Neither.
Oh, okay.
I like the real thing.
Oh, y'all are.
I'm a Coca-Cola girl.
Oh, you're a Coca-Cola.
No diet, no zero.
Okay.
And I take my coffee black.
I like that one. On that one, we actually already talked about a couple of mentors that have shaped your career. One word that your former staff would use to describe your leadership style.
Hopefully that I don't know if I can put this in one word.
No, go ahead. Multiple words.
That I never asked them to do anything I wouldn't do.
Lead from the front. I like that. Okay. All right, last one. One thing people would be surprised to learn about you.
I'm a pretty open book.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what I would want to know out there.
I don't get a lot of...
How long did it take you to learn how to spell Zavogiannis?
It took me about 8 months.
That makes me feel better because every single time that I was doing the graphics for it, every single time I was doing the post for it, I'm like, I don't think I spelled that right. And I had to go back and look. And every single time because I'm a basketball fan, I've gotten the Giannis part on. I got that one. But I'm always Z-A-V-O or Z-A-V-A. And as I sit here right now, I still don't know if I'm confident about which one it is.
It's O.
It's O. Okay.
It's O.
So 8 months on that one.
Yeah, it took me a while, and it probably took me longer than that to say it right. Because you're talking about a country girl.
Yeah. I don't think I learned something about you today. I didn't know you were from Kentucky.
Yeah. The first thing I learned was the Greek alphabet.
Oh.
And you got to learn to roll your tongue. So I'm not very good at rolling my tongue.
Yeah.
So.
we're from the South. We're slow. We talk the slow Southern South. Come on now, we don't be trying to ask us to do all that kind of stuff. That's great. Well, Lisa Z, thank you so much for coming in. Hope that the conversation was as good on your end as it was for me. I really enjoyed getting to know you a little bit better, getting to know what your where you're at and where you're coming from. And again, too, best of luck in this race that's coming up. I know that you've put in a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of effort in it as well. As everybody that's out there running, and the biggest thing to me is you put your name out there. You put your name on a ballot, and that says something. It says a lot about anybody that is willing to do that in our community, because there's a lot of us that want to talk a lot, but when it comes to actually having to go out there and put yourself out there and be judged in a lot of ways, it's rare to see people to do that, and you've put yourself out there for the last 20 years. So I appreciate that, and best of luck to you in this race.
Thank you, Jeff.
I appreciate you. We'll be back on the Simmons Says show tomorrow. Again, presenting sponsor of the Simmons Says show, that is Mud Bums, 507-2867. That is 507 Bums. You can go and get the lunch specials right now. At 11 o'clock they open, and they'll be having all kinds of live music tomorrow night with Songwriter Night on Tuesday nights. We'll be back tomorrow on the Simmons Says show at 10:30 a.m. Thank y'all.
We're drinking their fame from a dirty glass, singing us a mess of blues. Crocodile tears, $1 million smiles. Well, you better watch out when the hand comes out, 'cause man,